Well, photography makes me happy. When I look at pictures, it makes me feel happy that people see my pictures and asking me questions about what the picture looks like, and I want people to understand what my pictures are all about and what I write about them.
Josephine Herrick started her career of photography after college, and that led to a very remarkable service that she heads up, and which was her own idea. Joe, will you tell us about the Volunteer Service Photographers?
Well, it's an organization, Emily, that's dedicated to the service of the wounded and disabled, really, to help them learn to live again through photography. So we call it rehabilitation photography, and it's bringing programs into the hospitals, the Army and Navy hospitals, veterans hospitals, civilian hospitals, all of them now, and working with the patients so that they have an interest to carry on.
We just couldn't think of anyone better to tell us about them than America's leading woman photographer and foreign correspondent, Margaret Bourke White. Miss Bourke White, how did you first get interested in the volunteer service photographers?
Well, Arlene Francis, I think it was through being a war correspondent and working on the front and seeing things happen to soldiers. You often think this might happen to me. And I think all war correspondents felt as I did, that we were in a rather privileged position because we could go up to the front and we could come back for a rest. And these boys had to stay through the mud and snow and slogging it out through the danger, and then eventually something might happen to them. And you feel that you just can't do enough, because after all the war ends, and here they are still in hospitals, months and even years later, and we mustn't forget those boys. We must re-arouse their interest in life and do what we can to give them a spark that will make life worthwhile for them.
So the purpose of that assignment was to help you realize how sometimes it's nice to have a focus in a picture, or like a star of your picture, one thing that kind of is your main focus in the picture. I like the fact that you guys are thinking about things in a different way. Like for instance, Samantha, you did some pictures one week of some crinkled papers, and I think it was interesting that you came in and took them from different angles, and instead of a crinkled paper, it looked like art.
About 10 years ago, a group of us came together and we discovered a need to develop the artistic talents and artistic expression of some of our children and adults. Again, we reached out to the Josephine Herrick Project for further resources because we didn't have the cameras, and they graciously provided us with some cameras. They have also provided us with a professional photographer, which is unbelievable for the kids. But to have a professional photographer come in has been a huge difference in the kids' ability to not just technically work their cameras, but to view the world around them and how they're taking pictures. What we've seen, and the therapists have seen, is they have gotten a good indication of where those kids are looking when they're taking pictures, whether they're seeing the world clearly or slightly out of focus, what their interests are, whether they're taking pictures of people or the floor or the ceiling, where their mind's at. And it's not only helped the kids, but the teachers and the therapists are getting a real insight into those kids, and it's helping them with their lessons. It's helping them develop their abilities overall, not just with art and photography.
What is your present big project, Mrs. Herrick?
Well, the great desire is to be able to spread the rehabilitation photography program to the benefits of as many patients as possible in hospitals on a nationwide basis. We are in many other states, but we're anxious to have the program grow so as to help more people.